we've had complaints from all over town. You're going to have to stop with the kicking.
Oh, yeah? I think my scary, otherworldly, shadowy spirit friends might have something to say about that.
Hello, we'll get LTM reviews to get you caught up on the oldest movies. Okay, so last time I did a review of Bad Taste, Peter Jackson's first film. And now let's talk about his second feature-length film, Meet the Feebles. So Meet the Feebles is a 1989, 1990, one or the other, late 80s, early 90s puppet movie that from what I heard, it was kind of like The Muppets or Sesame Street, but on crack. Basically, I got to watch the film on YouTube, much like Bad Taste. I watched Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles on YouTube, by the way, and they're free, by the way, if you want to try those out. And while I did like Bad Taste a lot, for Meet the Feebles, while not as good as Bad Taste, is a really entertaining film. Now, it's not perfect, and I'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the plot first. Meet the Feebles is a dark black comedy, if you want to, or dark comedy, black comedy, you can call it either one. I'm going to call it a black comedy because that's what most people call it. Meet the Feebles is a black comedy about a bunch of puppets who put on a show called the Feeble Hour. And each character, a few of the characters have their own separate stories. One is about Heidi, who is finding out that her husband, Bletch, and that's literally his name, who's having an affair with her with a cat. A rabbit, I forgot his name, I think it's Harry, who has STDs after making out with women. Not kidding, and you actually see it, by the way, in the dark with flashing lights. A new hedgehog, which I forgot his name, has a love triangle with a rat who falls in love with one of the girls too, and they end up in a love triangle. And then the rat, I forgot his name, is trying to make a porno movie, which it's really disgusting, yeah. And there's also that's about it. I mean, we'll get to the and that's basically the whole movie. We'll get to the negatives in a minute, but first let me start with the positives. The movie is the puppetry in this movie is really good. It's, well, not as good as, say, the Muppets or how Jim Henson would make it. It's really well done, and these puppets actually feel real and alive. You actually can feel that these puppets are actually real, and they look very spectacular, and the designs are actually pretty, although sometimes a little rough, they do look pretty nice. The backgrounds are very nice to look at too. I mean, it's very short and simple, but they've got a charm to them. The music, I will say, for some songs, for the most part, are actually pretty well done. Now, I don't know who did the songs for the movie, but they are pretty catchy songs, except one of them that involves that one fox who sings it. It was I forgot the name of it. Well, I'm not gonna say the title because it's kind of stupid, but that song was kind of uncomfortable. But the rest of the songs, they were really well done, and they're very fun to listen to. Let's just get to the negatives out of the way, because this is where I start to lose the movie a little bit. The characters are very unlikable, kind of mean-spirited. I mean, it's kind of what I'd expect from a dark Muppet parody, but it's you got to at least make your characters some likability. I mean, like I said, Bletch is just a cheating asshole. Harry's just this pervert who just likes, I don't know, rabbits, I guess. The rat character is kind of a douche. I didn't like him. The only likable character I liked, actually there's two. It was that hedgehog, which I forgot his name, and Heidi the hippo. Those were the only two likable characters. Everybody else is either a jerk or just mean-spirited. I didn't like any of the characters, except for those two. The plot is all over the place. I can barely follow a story from any of them. I didn't care for any of the side stories. I did care about Heidi's and the hedgehog story, but the one about the rat and the one involving Harry and I forgot about, there's an elephant named Sid who has to become a father that's dating a chicken that ends up giving birth to a son that looks exactly like the elephant's face, and it has the body of a chicken. It was pretty uncomfortable. I mean, it's cute, but I could see South Park or Family Guy poking fun at this. And I think Family Guy did a joke about it once. I can't remember, but I know there is. Okay, anyways, the plot was all over the place. The characters were unlikable. Overall, but other than that, I kind of funny, in a funny, clever way, I still kind of enjoy the film. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not Peter Jackson's best, and I do prefer Bad Taste over this film. But I can't, it is kind of a fun experience just to see Peter Jackson do a dark comedy. I mean, Bad Taste was a comedy, dark comedy too, but it was more like a horror movie. It felt more like a basic horror movie than an actual dark comedy. Meet the Feebles is a dark comedy. It's got dark moments and some mean-spirited stuff, but it's got some really dark, it's got some funny stuff in it, you know? So, Meet the Feebles is not as good as Bad Taste, and it's definitely not Peter Jackson's best, but I do recommend it just because of how really dark, sick, and twisted it is. And I won't spoil the ending because honestly, as dark as it is kind of clever. So, I give Meet the Feebles a 7 out of 10. I can't recommend this movie for everyone because it's technically not a kid's movie and because it is kind of uncomfortable for some. But I do recommend to see, it is kind of interesting, I do recommend it just to see what Peter Jackson did in his early days before Lord of the Rings and King Kong. So, I'll say that. Okay, that was Meet the Feebles. Now that one's done, I'm going to do one more Peter Jackson's film, and it's a movie called Brain Dead, aka Dead Alive, which I'll get to that if I can find the movie on YouTube, but we'll see how it goes. This is LTM signing out, and I'll see you guys next time.
The things I do for love.
Me